Hello, everyone, and welcome to this course overview and new student orientation. This is Karen Urbanic.
So excited to be here.
Yes, and myself, and we are going to be introducing you to the required courses and the elective courses that are available as a 2022 HHE student. So we'll first just start by giving a brief introduction to our school and our passion for why we're here. And then we can't wait to show you the course library and walk you through what the graduation requirements are, what order to do the classes in, and especially show you how to access resources. There are so many resources here at Holistic Health Educators for getting one-on-one attention and help, for networking, for teaming up with other people who are passionate about a topic that you are and co-creating a course with them. We have people right now working on courses on how to detoxify from Lyme disease and mold toxicity, and they're focusing on that. We have people who are creating prenatal and postnatal healthcare courses that integrate both medical and holistic approaches to having a happy, healthy childbirth. And then, there's sound healing specialists. So it's just Neil's, homeopathy, herbalism. So the opportunities here are immense because you can come through and absolutely get educated, take all the courses you want to from our platform. But there's nothing we love more than students turning around and collaborating with other students and professionals and creating courses that need to be created. Like that's when you know the course is successful, is when it's created to satisfy a need in the community, when like people need to know this information. And so we'll start off taking you through the courses, but then I will spend the last minute just talking about how do you access all these resources that'll be available to you as a holistic health educator, student, and professional.
That's awesome. And I think I'm most excited because I started educating and my first course was taught in 2010 is when I first graduated. And we had doctors, we had medical doctors, nurses, naturopathic doctors, dentists, all these people coming to the courses. And for me, I loved education and I'm a little science geeky. And so like I put a lot of science in everything and I was like, oh gosh, how's this going to go? How's it going to go? And I can happily tell you right now, we have never, ever, ever had a single client or a student not happy with their courses. Like literally it has been, I kept waiting for, okay, those are medical doctors that went through and they loved it, and it's just been so much fun. And what I love is having Amy come in to do the instructions. She's just so gifted. So it's been so fun to watch what she's brought to the table. And it's just gone from, some wonderful, courses to like, oh my gosh, so we're super excited to show you today what's new because there's a lot new at Holistic Health Educators. So
yes, totally. So we have arranged our school like a university where there's core classes and then electives. And so we're going to walk you through the actual core classes and give you a much briefer introduction to the electives. Depending on what bundle you enrolled with, depends on how many electives you get. Those aren't required to graduate, but they can really enhance your practice and be really interesting and provide a whole livelihood to you, depending on which ones you choose. So that's awesome. Right before we jump into the core classes though, I just want to share one thing that is a pillar belief system of holistic health educators. And it is that no form of healing is off the table. What people need right now is a really integrative approach where it can combine nutrition with physical mobility and movement. Our bodies do not work right unless we're moving. And then also to adjust the emotional component and know when to refer to a specialist for more advanced forms of therapy, but also when to practice coaching and listening skills and help people develop emotional management skill sets to combat trauma responses and things. And so there'll be time for all that. And then the fun part of being a TNC is you get to choose from like literally 100 modalities of healing to piece together an integrative protocol for someone. If it's a nerve issue, they may need auricular therapy or myofascial release or chiropractic care, and then this herbal regimen to help repair their nerves, and then these dietary changes. And that's the kind of education we want to provide for you so that you can treat someone as a whole. And that said, we also do believe in working with the medical field if someone is under the supervision of a physician. So we are like not anti-medicine here, but our belief is that medicine probably only accounts for like maybe 10% of the whole pie of healing, of accessing care and of getting diagnosis and then actually treating or reversing these diseases. So I just wanted to start off with prefacing it with that because we love integrative healthcare. We love the concept of accessing the best of every world, of what every world has to offer, and just piecing it together for our health and our families and for our clients. So with that said, we can go ahead and get started. Unless there's anything else you wanted to mention.
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm too excited to get to the program.
I know. She's like, stop introducing us already. Okay, so I just have us opened up into my library. And so depending on what courses you all enroll in will determine what shows up in your library. So there's a portion of these that are required courses, such as the 10-step program. You'll need a 100% completion on that. Same thing with the holistic health coach certification. These are going over coaching techniques, legalities, business building skills, holistic therapies. Cell talk is another example. It's only about 2 hours, but that's going over cellular anatomy and physiology. Those are required. So I'm going to show you a list of what exactly is required in a minute, but then throughout that, you'll also have scattered whatever your elective courses are. So maybe my electives are core functional fitness and foundational fitness with Hope Savara. This is an amazing course that covers, you could literally be a personal trainer with this type of education. It just covers head to toe what true mobility is, not just flexibility, not just endurance, but actual mobility. That's a great one. How to read your blood work better than your doctor is another amazing elective course. So we're gonna spend the first half just going through the required courses to familiarize you with them, and then we'll jump into the elective courses. Should I share that PDF right now or after we?
No, afterwards.
Okay.
I think that'd be fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, so shall we start with cellular anatomy and physiology?
That sounds exciting.
Okay, so step one is a course called Let's Talk Cell Talk, and this is going over cellular anatomy and physiology. So why do you start with cells, Karen?
Because it's the basic building block. Actually, we start with atoms.
Yes.
So you learn all about atoms and physics, and it's fun. It's really easy to understand and a lot of fun because we've had a lot of fun putting this together. And so that's why we start with cells, because if you, every single thing that anyone is experiencing is a cell issue. And so if we never actually treat the cell as a single, we can never treat the body as a whole. And so changing, it's called cellular context. And when you change cell context, you actually change the outcome of that particular cell, which means you change the outcome of that particular tissue, organ, gland, structure, right? And so we know, I've seen this with thousands of my own clients, that they change based on their cell context. And that's what we're excited to show in here. And you're going to love all the PowerPoints. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's super fun. So we talk about electron entanglement, you know, when you call someone and they're thinking about you, we explain how that works in the electron cloud. And then we get into cellular organelles. And a lot of these words we hear today, you know, mRNA, that word's been floating around everywhere. So we go into what is gene expression and what do ribosomes do and what is the process of your genes coding for specific proteins that are going to be building your body. We want you to be very familiar with all these concepts because, like she said, when you have this foundation down, everything makes so much more sense. You're in a nutrition course and they're talking about cellular respiration and glucose and fatty acids, and it's just like, oh, I get it. I get what happens inside the cell. So that's why we start off with cell talk as step one. For step two, you have some options of where you want to go next. You can either jump straight into the 10-step program, or you can go into a foundations of nutrition, metabolism, and meal planning course. So if someone's like brand new to nutrition, I would actually recommend they start off with the 10-step because that's going to give you a broader introduction into nutrition. But I'll have Karen go over your favorite parts of the 10-step if that works.
Yeah, the 10-step program, what's really fun about the 10-step program is you have video. I want to open it a little bit up on the chat.
Yeah.
There, you have video, you have handouts, and the handouts you are going to be able to use with all of your clients. They are absolutely amazing. And so you not only get to watch these videos that are super fun. It's Jenna Lynn and Amy and I, and we just have a ball. And we explain the basic foundations of health. And these came from working with thousands of people. There's always those same things that we need to discuss, except we went into a lot more detail. And so now this is a phenomenal program that people can just take on its own. It's only a couple $100. And so they can go through this 10-step program, but it's definitely something that is a phenomenal place to start. And it's the core of the Holistic Health Coach program, because the Holistic Health Coach program is really focused on you being so comfortable to explain water and sleep and digestion and brain health and emotional health that it just comes off your lips. You know, it's just something you understand. And I think that's what I love about having you too, Amy, is everything is so easily understood. Like we've made it really, really fun, and which makes it fun for you because then you get it. We're not going to be talking over your head. You're going to learn a lot that you aren't going to learn at a normal school or a college, but that's one of the gifts that we like to share is.
Yeah. Karen always says we like, you know, we make it really understandable, and that's totally true, but we're referring to like crazy science. Like we love geeking out on the sciencey part. So let's watch I'm not sure where this is at in this video clip, but let's just see what you're talking about here. If this loads for
later
us.
on in this one. And then we need to understand, because the inside of the cell needs water in order to produce a healthy cell. So we grow and divide into two healthy cells. We need water, and the interstitial fluid around the cells needs to be flowing. So the boron and the copper and the magnesium that we're eating in our fruits and vegetables is able to come in and then get sucked up into the cell. So again, cell health is dependent on the water you're drinking right now. And if I can just add, some of those awful things that you read in the parts per million, the TDS, are actually inhibitors, right? So we are actually getting food and we're taking chemicals in our water that inhibit uptake, which means it'll land in those interstitial areas, in the cell receptor sites and clog them. So now we can't absorb certain nutrients. So very important to keep the water clean.
Woo! Okay, so that's just a little example of why talking about when it comes to water, it's not as simple as just drinking more water. We need to be conscientious of where our water sources are coming from so that we can actually help fully hydrate ourselves. So 10-step program just takes you through all of that. Like she mentioned, there's challenge videos and fun quizzes and tons of handouts. We go over water, movement, nutrition. The nutrition section is awesome, where we cover superfoods. We have like meal hygiene, 4 steps to take before meals to, calm down your central nervous system and be able to produce the right gastric juices to digest your food. So there's lots of articles, and going to digestive health, brain health. We're really big on neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are one of they're one of the most important things. Neurotransmitters and hormones are controlling our whole bodies. And so a lot of times we feel just victims to our mood, or we think that we're in a bad mood because of something going on outside of us. But so often we have these chemical imbalances going on inside our body. So we spend a lot of time talking about what are the different top neurotransmitters? How does your body produce them? What do you need to eat to be making them? And how are they going to affect your mood differently? So brain health, we talk about neurotransmitters, and then switch into neural pathways to talk about, their neurolinguistic programming and how to rewire the brain. And then we get into breathing, sleep techniques. A lot of people are dealing with sleep issues these days. And so we cover what are the top ways to combat that, from addressing EMFs to light exposure. Karen's probably going to show the beginning of this video, even though it's totally obnoxious.
I think it's amazing. This is just the kind of stuff you can look forward to. Okay. Yes, we're all in pajamas. Okay.
And barefoot.
Is that
so? There's a lot. The earth has an electromagnetic frequency. It literally.
Cool. So anyway, so we are in unicorn onesies for this. Actually, this is interesting what she's saying. She's talking about the earth having an electromagnetic frequency.
Communicates with your body and your circadian rhythm. When you're wearing shoes and you're not barefoot, you're not connecting with the earth. And we'll talk about grounding a little bit later. But if you go outside and you go barefoot and you get sunshine, especially no sunglasses, you want your pupils to actually take in the vitamin D. It'll communicate with your body that it's morning. There's actually blue light in the sun in the morning, which you want. It helps you wake up and get energized. But what you don't want is you don't want blue light at night. So blue light at night, that's what we're getting from our screens.
So yeah, so now she's just explaining that adjusting the light spectrum depending on the time of day. At nighttime, you're going to want to shift to colors that resemble fires and sunsets, like the oranges and the pinks. Those are conducive to your circadian rhythm as opposed to blue light. So that's just an introduction to the 10-step program. This one's students really like it because it is more just real talk. It's not such a organized, structured lecture material, but you still get tons of information. Now, if you want more lecture material,
here we go.
This is where foundations of nutrition, metabolism, and meal planning will come in. This is where you're getting all the PowerPoints you could possibly want with all the visuals you could ever need. And so just for an example, one thing we cover during the carbohydrate section is insulin and type 1 and type 2 diabetes. This is really relevant to understand. And so these are all PowerPoints that you can download as you go through the course. But as we take you through this information, we'll just be explaining how our organ systems are designed to work and then what interferes with those in the 21st century. So I'll just give you a 15-second clip of this if it loads here.
And the PowerPoints themselves are worth every penny you would spend on this course alone. It is amazing. You'll be able to explain everything.
Digestive system and the endocrine system. That means that it helps break apart food and contains these digestive enzymes.
Okay, sorry. I was just talking about the pancreas because the pancreas is interesting. It's part of your endocrine system and your digestive tract. So it's producing hormones. The two we are talking about in this lecture is glucagon and insulin. It also contains digestive enzymes, amylase, lipase, protease. So your pancreas is super important. And so we just started off explaining that, and then explaining what exactly goes wrong when insulin receptor sites become desensitized to insulin and can no longer let those glucose molecules through the glucose channel and into the cell. So that's what happens with diabetes, is either there's not enough insulin in the bloodstream period, or the insulin receptor sites are desensitized to it, and it takes a lot more insulin to get the same effect. And so this whole lecture series is just designed to give you tons of visuals, help you like thoroughly understand the breakdown of carbohydrates, the breakdown of protein, and the breakdown of lipids, and then also to know how those things build your body back up. And so we do cover like really relevant diseases that are associated with that. Like, for example, when we're talking about protein metabolism, we cover stomach cells, hydrochloric acid, and GERD or acid reflux, because oftentimes people can be eating enough protein, but if their hydrochloric acid levels aren't high enough, it's not going to activate pepsinogen into the active form of pepsin, which you need to break down your proteins. And it's also not going, that acidic environment is not going to trigger the proper release of bile and pancreatic enzymes and sodium bicarbonate in your small intestinal tract. And so you have people coming in with amino acid deficiencies, but they're eating like tons of meat and tons of protein and taking protein shakes, and they still have amino acid deficiencies. How is that? It's coming down to their body's ability to literally metabolize protein. We need to have the proper levels of hydrochloric acid in our stomachs. And so in this lecture series, we go over what are the four main stomach cell types, between parietal cells and G cells and mucosal cells and chief cells. And then we go, I think I missed one, chief parietal. Anyway, and so we go over the cell types and then explain how do you create the proper mixture of gastric juice? How do you support your body in doing that? There's breathing exercises that help. There's dietary tips that help. There are different supplements that you can take if you need to that can help. And so it's just really relevant. So that's what we like. That's been fun about this course, is we'll cover not only the major things to cover when it comes to that nutrient metabolism, but also what are the most common diseases associated with this nutrient not being metabolized properly. So that's in nutrient metabolism. There's also these great videos, what I eat in a day videos. So we have these from our coaches. Karen has an awesome one. She's a superfood vegetarian, so she gets so many amino acids in her diet, and it's really fun watching her day. Coach Tara Garrison is a cyclical keto trainer, and so she's written books that are like published in Costco and everything. And so her video is really awesome, just taking you through her diet. And she's also not an anti-carber by any means. So we're out to clear up a lot of misconceptions that there are about carbohydrates. But so that's what you can expect in your foundations of nutrition, metabolism, and meal planning. So there's just one more course that's required for the holistic health coach, and then we get into the T&C requirements. And that is this marvelous holistic health coach cert program where we dial in on coaching techniques, behavior change, and business organization and legalities. Okay. So this is where we really want you to feel confident working with people one-on-one to address client belief systems. How do I help people overcome all or nothing mentalities? This next video, addressing mindset, emotions, and self-talk with clients, just listen to that for yourself if you're ever having a bad day. It's so encouraging. What were your favorite parts about the people we had come in to film these parts for?
Well, I just love Hope. Hope's one of my best friends. And it just so happens that we've known each other for about 14, 15 years now, because she would present at our live T&C events. And so we just found love, and she walks the walk. And that's a big thing, is like, I walk the walk and Hope walks the walk. And I know a lot of the people who write the books that you read. I know them. And I'm telling you, it's not always easy to find people who walk the walk. And so when you find them, we kind of glue together like that. And Hope is one of them. And she is absolutely incredible. Her clients succeed just beautifully. So it's great to have her come in. Tara, we all love Tara because she's just a delight, and she is just on fire as well. And you're amazing. And so I think it's just really fun. I think that's probably my favorite part, is the presenters are all high energy. They definitely know what they're talking about, overly qualified. And you have to change the name of the foundations for nutrients. Yeah, it has to be advanced, because I'm telling you, you won't learn any of that in a college. Trust me. Like what Amy has done, she's been to Johns Hopkins, and she's like, yeah, well, I took that, but I added all of this. I mean, it's amazing. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I probably should change the title, because we've had people go through, and after like the second lecture, they're like, am I behind? Because this is not foundational. I'm like, sorry guys, but no, it is. I do try to take it from the ground up though. So
Yes.
anyway, this section is just awesome. Last thing I'll mention here, behavior change, identity shaping is huge. One thing that I'll just highlight really quick on this lecture area is that when it comes to client behavior, you have this feedback loop. I'm trying to find the image for it. You have this feedback loop between identity and behavior. So our behaviors affect how we see ourselves, and how we see ourselves affects our behaviors, right? On the days you're like feeling good about yourself, you're like, I can do this. Someone gave you a great compliment. You believed it. You're like feeling good. And then your behaviors match that. But then all of a sudden, you mess up, you say something stupid, and all of a sudden you start to feel ashamed, and you feel that shame or guilt, and it starts affecting your identity. Like, I'm not even worth exercising for right now. Like, honestly, on a subconscious level, that totally plays with someone's psyche. We start with this because there are successful approaches to both. You can focus on habit formation. That would be a behavioral intervention, is focusing on habit creation and habit formation. They're like, okay, I want to help this person go on regular walks. I want to help this person start putting greens in their diet at least once a day. That would be a habit formation approach. Behavioral approach. Identity approach would be conversations, like listening to how they're talking to you and asking them questions about why they believe what they be, peeling back their belief systems to get to the root of where they feel they're not worthy of a healthier lifestyle. And when you can address what's at the root of their self-worth issues with them, and that may be like they have to have a conversation with their mom, or that may be they should go get some emotion code therapy, or some Psych K therapy, or there are so many good therapy forms out there, EMDR, whatever is going to be the best fit. It may be time to refer this person because they have to address that core limiting belief before they will move forward, or else it'll be an uphill battle. And I'm just the biggest advocate of therapy you'll ever meet, because I can't believe how easy behavior change is for me after I get out of an effective therapy session. I don't even have to try to take care of myself. I just take care of myself because all of a sudden I believe I'm worth it. And so that's a big thing. I love this example here is, one more, I was a little bit further there. Okay, like this is an example of self-talk and what it means when we say like peel back the layers. And then we got to switch gears into modalities of healing.
I am all good.
Okay, like this is like an example of performing evaluation of self-talk and questioning our thoughts. I would ask, why is this upsetting me? Because my work is being criticized. Why is my work being criticized? Because I did something wrong. Why did I do something wrong? Because I'm dumb. Why am I dumb? Because I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. And this shows how one little surface thing, someone criticizing your work, can spiral someone down a negative thought pattern of thinking like they're a total failure. And they might not even know that's a thought spiral. So just giving someone the verbiage of like what a negative thought spiral is, what is an identity distortion, what are thought distortions, giving them the verbiage to start evaluating their own mental psyche and their own thoughts can be game-changing, completely life-changing. So anyway, that's fun, because I'm sure any of you who are already coaching, your clients are so different person to person. Like I have some clients that are like middle-aged men who just want like a better nutrition plan so they don't feel so fatigued at work, and maybe they want to exercise more. And then I have like girls my age who are dealing with major depression and are really wanting to rewire their brain. And so there's like a whole spectrum here of people you can work with in the holistic healthcare field, and it's very empowering. So that covers the health coach program. Is there anything else you want to mention?
Yeah, and just that the health coach program includes the 10 stuff, includes everything you've already seen. So we're just kind of building.
Yep. So those are the 4 courses that come with the health coach. If you want to take it to the next step, now you're going to become a therapeutic nutritional counselor. This is where you're stepping beyond just lifestyle. You're stepping beyond like, oh, you're having sleep issues. Let's talk about how to, regulate your circadian rhythm and improve your light exposure and exercise. Okay. So now we're moving into therapeutic protocols for people. People may come in with nerve pain. They may come in, their kid has autism and keeps on acting up, and they want to know, is there anything they can do to try to help their kids' behavior? This is where people may have more specific issues, and you're here to help them like piece together this puzzle of what could be going on in their body. So do you want to start with Human Body Master Guide or modalities of healing? What are you thinking?
maybe modalities of natural healing.
Okay.
And so I think what is success, when I designed the therapeutic nutritional counseling course, and just so you get a visual, there's the holistic health coach, phenomenal program, the TNC program, naturopathic doctor. So that's the role right here. And all of these are required for that. And so the TNC program, when I designed it, I actually designed this course while I was becoming a holistic healthcare practitioner. Cause I'm like, oh, they're missing this. Oh, we need to know more about that. Oh, we need to know more about that, because it was great to jump into that. But if people didn't have the foundations, then this would have been like, woo, right? And so it was really cool because I wanted to add a modality section. And so right here, the modalities of healing, I cover over 125 different modalities of natural healing. And this is the crucial thing to understand. And these are fun videos, by the way. You will love every single one of them. I had so much fun reshooting them over this last year because I've worked with so many more clients since when I first shot them and was teaching it back in 2010, 2012, right? And so this was super fun. And what's awesome is you're going to be able to find, okay, this client is going to feel really receptive to, you know, shamanism and drum circles or, you know, whatever it might be. That's where they're coming from. That's their vibe. And that's where they're going to heal. And then you're going to have someone who's like, no, I won't do a chiropractor and I won't do this. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a chiropractor when you have myofascia. And so you're going to find the backup and the backup and the backup. So you literally are going to be able to take a client. And I've had this happen countless times that I've taken a client on X, Y, and Z medication, and we've been able to work with their nutrients, work with their diet, work with their doctors so they can get off their medications. We've had people get off of 8 medications within 8 months. I mean, because they're doing these modalities instead, and these modalities last. You're not on a, you don't get on a pharmaceutical to get off of it really quick, you know, and so, but here you do. And with our own daughter, the quick story. So we have our youngest daughter out of 11. She had an issue. We didn't know what it was. I went to the natural modalities of healing for 4 years, 4.5 years. That's all I did was go back and forth. And we kept using these different modalities to help her get through this until we finally found out and discovered what it was. She was dealing with dysautonomia, but that is a very new world to most. No medical doctors ever knew what it was. Nobody naturopathic. And we went to hundreds of professionals over those years. And so I loved having the modalities of healing because there were so many ways to relieve her pain and her discomfort. And so those are really fun. You're going to love every one of those. That's a super place to start.
Yes. And so just so you know, Karen does do some of these, recapping them on her own very briefly, but she also does pull in really cool interviews. So like we have, you know, iridologists who've been practicing for decades, and they're just giving you the cream of the crop of their trade in 10 minutes. Like, hey, this is when you use it. This is how you use it. This is how it helps people. Boom. Move on to the next video. Anyway, so this is just like, I love that Karen mentioned, not everyone's going to be receptive to everything. You know, some people are going to be really closed off to certain modalities and maybe a lot more open to other modalities. And that's why having this arsenal in your toolbox of knowing what's available for people. I mean, we have people who've been practicing in holistic healthcare for 30 years come through our course and say they learned so many new modalities of healing that they didn't ever even know existed, or maybe they had heard of it, but they didn't see how it fit together. And so that's what's really fun about this course is it just gets to literally take us through a world of healing and see what different civilizations around the world have been doing for these health issues for the past centuries.
I got to throw one in there because one of my clients yesterday, he had come in and he's had all these issues, you know, with his head and his nose and blah, blah. And I did all my scanning, went on his consultation, got a wonderful protocol. And I'm like, now, have you ever heard of, and then I explained all the nasal therapies where you put balloons up into the nose and you puff in them and you blow them. Don't do this yourself at home, but they're special. Anyhow, and it moves the cranial bones back into place. And it's going to help him so much. But had I not, you know, been teaching this for over 12 years, that was a really weird thing to come upon. And that's what's so neat is you're going to understand NLP to light therapy to oxygen therapy, the difference between ozone therapy. And then when you have a client who has Parkinson's, you're going to know exactly what to do. You have a client who has Alzheimer's, you're going to know the difference. If you have a client who has GERD or, you know, hypochlorhydria, you're going to know what to do. And that's what's so fun. And if you don't know what to do, that's okay, because we have the Human Body Master Guide, which is also included.
Yes.
So that's super
That's
fun.
a good segue into Human Body Master Guide. I'm
Did
going to
you
say
like
either loved it.
Did you like that?
I'm
Okay.
going to say either come on a live call or you can submit questions that we'll send out to our team of practitioners. If it's like a really random health thing that Karen and I don't know and our immediate group of instructors don't know, then we'll send it out to them. But another great resource that you can always access is the Human Body Master Guide. Now, this course there's only one part of it that's required for TNCs, and that's the systems of the body. We want you you familiar with all 13 systems of the body. There's like going to be 14 or 15 in the next few years, mark my words, because there's a big group of scientists that are actually moving to propose including the microbiome as an actual system of the body. Thank heavens. That would be so good. So much of our body depends on the microbiome. So the microbiome is new, and also the fascial system is new, and they might even be separating the lymphatic system from your normal lymphatic system, because the lymphatic system for your brain is so unique. Anyway, so the point is, we want you familiar with the systems of your body so that it can lay the good groundwork for piecing together all these modalities of healing. You're like, oh, that works on the central nervous system. Oh, that works on your digestive organs. Oh, that works on your myofascia and your musculature system. So that's part of the systems of the body. But the rest of this course is really just a resource. If you completed this in your lifetime, Holistic Health Educators is going to fly you to any foreign destination of your choosing. Okay. If you can see here, we're on 600 videos now, but what our goal is, that's actually going to be like almost doubling in the next couple months.
We keep adding to it. Yeah.
The point of this program is, okay, have you guys ever noticed that like you talk to someone who does like essential oils, and there's like an essential oil for everything, and then you talk to a chiropractor and he's like, it all comes back to the back, and then you talk to like a nutritional counselor and they're like, it's all nutrition. And then you talk to like a hormonal specialist and they're like, oh my gosh, hormones are at the root of every metabolic disease. And so everyone has like a great thing to contribute. Like, and they're like, there's this for this, there's this for this. So we're like, okay, let's just go around, interview everyone, get their ideas for how they treat A through Z of all these different diseases, and put it in one program so that when someone's dealing with a dental issue or depression, you come here and you open it up, and then boom, there's written sections on all the herbs, on all the aromatherapies. Yeah, you can open it. There's like a nutrition section, whole food sources and spices to enjoy, foods to avoid. You can pause it here, vitamins, minerals, supplements, tinctures, and extracts. These are all things that can help. So if you're someone who muscle tests, this guide is like our students' favorite thing, because they'll have clients come in and they'll just douse or muscle test through the Human Body Master Guide, like these instant info sections, to see like what could be the homeopathic remedies, the essential oils, the self-affirmations, like whatever it is. So there's like this written section where you can come through. Anyway, like I mentioned, gems, herbs, all that.
And this is on over 225 different health ailments. Yeah. So did you mention that?
I don't know.
I don't think you did. I had to throw it in there. But then there's all these videos from all of our buddies.
Yeah. And then you get videos. So like we will go around and interview, this is a therapist talking about depression, anxiety, and stress. And anyway, so her viewpoint is going to be a lot less scientific. Hers is like very emotional based. And then here you have neurofeedback with Dr. Shane Watt. And so he has a different approach to depression, talking about needing to do brain balancing and everything. And then you have a colon hydrotherapist who's talking about how all mental health is based in the gut, and you need to have, you got to get rid of the parasites and balance your nutrients and clean out the gut if you want to be healthy and happy. And so like everyone has a different perspective and they're valid. So all we wanted to do was bring it into one place so that you look up the disease ailment, if it's detoxification, diabetes, diaper rash, diarrhea, digestive issues, and gut health, man, you get to hear from all these different people who are specialists in their field and hear what they do.
And that's what I want to really focus on, because you might all just Google and then think you're getting the right answer, but I can tell you that I have Googled, I don't use Google, I use DuckDuckGo because Google is censored way too much. But if you go on DuckDuckGo and you look up something, you might get this medical doctor who writes an entire paper on small intestinal methane engine overgrowth. And I can tell you that they're wrong. Like I've read them. I'm like, this is not how this works. These are people who may have a PhD in something, or may be a doctor who simply never practiced with people. And so I just can't tell you enough that this is such a vital tool, because the people that we interviewed, these are my friends, these are my colleagues, and they know what they're talking about because they work with people. No one is allowed into the Human Body Master Guide unless they have a practice. People go to their building and they work with human beings, because I know that, because I've worked with so many people, I know what works for X, Y, and Z, but maybe I haven't worked with someone who's dealt with elemental P, but they have. And so we've pulled these people together so you don't have to go on some search online to find the answers. It's actually right here in the Human Body Master Guide. So for you as a TNC or a holistic health coach or just a mom, this is like an invaluable tool because it is so beneficial for the people who need it.
And also that goes to say, please introduce us to your favorite therapist. Yeah. Because we love traveling. Like someone's like, oh my gosh, there's this like old lady who practices acupuncture in New Mexico and she's a Chinese medicine specialist. Like you got to drive out there and interview her. So we'll like schedule 2 days to take our little film crew out there and like get all of her trade secrets from 45 years of practicing acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And we get to hear what are her favorite herbs for women who are dealing with menopause, post-menopause related hormonal imbalances, you know, and we get to hear her top tips for, now she's into magnetism therapy,
Yes,
actually.
I
So
know.
she's like kind of switching gears into magnets now. But anyway, it's just cool because you get to hear, oh, what do you do for clients when they're dealing with XYZ? And they just tell you. So super fun.
Yeah.
So that is what the Human Body Master Guide does. And like I said, that's more of a resource. There's only a select portion that's actually required. So we are
We'll go through
wrapping
the TNC,
up here. Yes, we shall open up the TNC.
just so they can see it. We don't got to talk about
Yes,
all of it.
yes. Okay, so do you want to talk about it or should I talk about it?
You can talk about it.
Okay, so this is actually the updated title. It hasn't clicked here, but it's called the TNC portal, because this is actually where you're going to be submitting like a lot of your taking your quizzes, submitting your book reports. So this one does have some videos. It has video replays of like in-person trainings that we've given for the TNC. But this one is kind of like your TNC, just like touch point.
Home
where,
base.
Yep.
Oh, we can
that's
call
the home
homies.
base. There you go. Oh yeah. TNC
The portal
homies.
for homies.
I
I
love
like
it.
that. Okay.
TNC homies. And so this is, like I said, you'll take your quizzes here, submit your book reports here. You will go ahead and watch, let me scoot down. You'll go ahead and just like watch replays. This is, anyway,
Yep, that's fine.
I'll stay up top. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, yeah.
this looks, that looked like it was more than it really is because we just removed a few things around. But anyway, this is where you'll like watch some replays and submit everything. So
Well, and when she says replays, when Amy says replays, we actually meet every Tuesday. The holistic health coaches and the TNCs do. And so you can find that in this R&R, the replays and recalls. So you can mention that for me because I love this. There's so much information in here. It's absolutely incredible.
yeah, so this is where you'll go if you ever miss a live call and you want to watch it. You'll pop in here and watch it. This is also where you can get so these are all replays. If you want to go back, watch about feng shui, understanding EMFs, Dr. Michelle Jorgensen, we love her.
One of the best things out there.
Yes. Her presentation is awesome. Chakra balancing, intermittent fasting, oxalates and salicylates, habit formation, understanding nutrition behind paleo versus keto diets. Anyway, so like there's a wide variety. There's also business building sections that are specifically focused on building your business. So these are like creating your big picture visions, marketing techniques, client acquisition. So you can find those there. But then here's where you can find like PDF handouts for your clients, meal plans that you can download and rebrand for yourself and send out to your clients, consultation forms, legal documents. So this is where you're going to find those resources for you to use in your actual coaching practice.
And the library is so amazing. You can do a search on anything and you'll find it in any of your programs. So when you're in here, if you're in here and you're like, okay, I want to see if they did a video on ketosis, type it in there, it'll all pop up. So it's really, really cool.
If I can just self-promote for a second.
Yeah, you can
I'm sorry, but the group participation on the call we had this last Tuesday was so good. Women sharing like what finally helped them, like after they felt like they were doing everything to lose weight and then they finally could lose weight. It was just such a good group call on exercise science and sports nutrition. So if you get in this program and you want to go back and watch a replay, just a little plug, you might like that one. So that is the R&R program. So does that make sense so far? If you can give me a thumbs up that this is like a course you access to, watch replays and access resources. So that is pretty straightforward.
On the Human Body Master Guide, we also have calls throughout the week, throughout the month, live Q&A as well. And so we have a lot of opportunity for you to learn from other professionals. So
cool. Okay, so we'll just wrap this up by just briefly letting you know what you have for options for electives. So like I said, we just covered all the core classes. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to share this page. This will be helpful. So when you enroll, we give you this handout, like let's say you're a TNC. So what this is going to do is give you like little check boxes next to each of these little mini courses. So you just kind of know what order to do it in and how much time to budget for that. So like Cell Talk, Cellular Anatomy and Physiology, that's 7 short lectures that'll take you like 2 hours max, unless you want to go back and rewatch them, which I totally encourage you do. And also with all of our videos, you can speed up the speed or slow them down. So if you're like a quick learner and you want to like do it at 1.5 speed, go ahead and speed it up. But if you're like, whoa, Karen and Amy are talking really fast right now, just go ahead and slow it down.
No.
I know it happens every now and then.
Imagine.
So this is just a PDF you'll get where you can mark off like, just check off these courses as you complete it. We also can see your completion level on our end. So this isn't what you show us to graduate because we can tell, but this is what you can do to help keep track for yourself what your course progress is. So everything above this line, like I said, is part of the HHC, and then everything, actually Human Body Mastery Guide, you also get access to that as a health coach, but it's not required. And then for the TNC, you get this TNC portal, 120 modalities of healing, and both TNCs and HHCs get access to this live calls, replays, and resources course. So this is just something you'll get so you know how to budget your time for the required courses, how many hours are in there. So that does kind of get us into graduation requirements. So aside from watching the videos themselves, each course does have a set amount of book requirements. And so like book reports. And so you get to choose what books you want. We give you like an amazing list. We need to like have a gold sticker award for people who read all of them, because like you could read all of them and get, trust me, a better education on holistic health care than you could at college. But anyway, so you get to pick your 3 books from that for the health coach and do your little report on that. For the TNC, there's 6 books. And so a few more for there. It's just a more extensive certification course, but you'll go ahead and complete your book reports. And then there's also quizzes and a final practicum involved for both certification courses as well. And that practicum, there's a test version of it. And then there's also a verbal practicum where you'll meet with either Karen or another like administrator on the team, and they will just do like a verbal practicum with you. They want to test your knowledge. They want to see if like, you know what you're talking about.
The practicums for the TNC are amazing because you are given all the paperwork right when you register to become a TNC on. So you can pick 4 of your friends or your family members or 4 of the studies that we give you, the case studies.
Yeah.
And then literally that's what your practicum is with me, is we are going to go through all 4 of those case studies, and you're going to present what your thoughts are. And then I get to see, okay, where did she study? Is she seeing the whole picture? Or here's what might be missing. And it's really fun. And we have people come, and everybody gets so nervous. Don't be nervous. It's me, but we do have a lot of fun. And we really have been able to see those who are like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to give them clients immediately. And then there are those who are like, okay, we're going to work with them through X, Y, and Z a little bit more, but they're doing great. So it's really neat because we get to actually see where you're coming from, and then and put that confidence back into you, because it's outstanding. It's a lot of fun.
And you can prepare for those. So those aren't like meant to stump you. We just want to know, like, if someone's coming to you with an issue, are you just going to give them one suggestion? Or are you going to like really look at the whole picture and see what could be happening at all these different levels of someone's spirit and physiology?
Not kidding. So one of the recent graduates, his name is Harrison, and he is amazing. He's like 67 and he's down in Oklahoma, and he's from, I don't even know where he's from, a different country. And he has had his practicums just blew me away. He had spent so much time researching, and I'm like, Harrison, he's like, yeah, he said, I got retired and I figured I really wanted to do something to change people's lives. I'm like, this man is on fire to change people's lives. And it was really cool. And then, we'll have we had another woman, who just, it was really hard for her to be able to speak and like form the opinions on everything. And it was great because I was able to work with her and then come back the next month and work through it again. And she was like a whole nother person. So it was really fun.
Totally.
I talked too much. I'm sorry.
That was not too much. I was reminiscing on all the times I learned more from failing than from getting it right the first time. That's what I was thinking about. Because like I've had that where I've been forced to present in front of my boss, in my last job, and it was terrifying, and I got annihilated, and my work performance increased by like 300% after that annihilation meeting, because I realized where I was wrong and it helped so much. So you just said that and I was like, wow, I almost wonder if it would be better to fail than to get it right the first time, because you just learn so much more from that. So whether you fail or win, I will be celebrating with you with some sparkling apple juice afterwards. Anyway, okay, cool. So I hope that answers some of your questions about graduation requirements. You do get a printout after you enroll. And for those of you who are already enrolled, you'll find it right away in that first welcome section of your course of exactly what the course graduation requirements are. So you can just like check it off as you go through all the courses. The time frame really does vary. Some people fly through the recorded videos and the quizzes, and then they take a little bit longer on the book reports and the practicum. For the health coach program, you do need 20 hours of coaching. And so for some people who are already seeing clients, they satisfy that in like 2 weeks. For other people, that might take them 3 months because they have 3 different clients that they're only meeting with a month or 2 here and there. So that time frame for that course is usually 3 to 6 months. Can be a little longer if someone's like really dragging their
And
feet.
you get a coach to help you.
Yeah.
That's the best part about this is you're joining a family, and we have the most amazing family from literally sea to other assigning, around the world.
Yeah.
And so you get to meet with coaches that are going to be like calling you, be like, okay, let's set up our next meeting for next week. Let me know what, like Tammy's like the mother of all, right?
Yeah.
And then her whole staff. And so you literally get to work with someone who will help hold you accountable and get you through this. So it's not like you're just, dumped into a program.
It's not like you're enrolling in a course that you're never going to open up again, because like we were very deliberate about making this a hybrid model where we wanted it to be self-paced to honor the fact that everyone has a different work schedule, everyone has a different life situation, so it should be self-paced. But we are not going to be the course someone signs up for and then it's a year later and they're like, oh, I need to get around to that course. Like, we do reach out to students, we do create graduation plans with them, we do assign them a coach, and ever since we implemented that like hybrid model, our graduation rates skyrocketed. I was surprised because even though there weren't those hard deadlines, people were still setting goals and they still had accountability and they were still so involved that they really were getting through their coursework at a really surprising rate. So anyway, so just to let you know that that's what we're referring to when we say resources, is some people do choose to be a little bit more standoffish, like, hey, I got a lot going on, just check in with me once a month. Honestly, like I'll like take care of it on my end. And then there's other people, like this is when I go through programs. I'm like, if you call me, like if you send me encouraging memes every morning when I wake up, like I won't mind at all. I'll be like, and if you want to make friendship bracelets, like also let me know. Okay. I'll meet you halfway. And so anyway, so like there's just a variation in how much support people want after they enroll. So just tell Tammy what kind of coach you want and she'll match you up with the right one.
Yeah.
Wow. We were doing so good at time.
We have talked fast.
I can't
watch it back on 1 whatever 5 slower.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to spend the last like 5 minutes showing you what your course elective options are. And then just know you can choose, pick 2 to 3 of these, depending on what course you come in with. I don't have all of them in my library.
Yeah.
Though.
They're not all there. I'm like, you're missing some of them.
I know,
okay.
But I'll just show you a couple of them. So like core functional fitness, like I said, if anyone, actually everyone
in the world
should do this course. Like hope is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
You will feel so empowered in your own body, and you'll especially feel confident creating doable exercise routines with your clients. And I take you through my favorite software for designing exercises for clients, but it can be as simple as like programming them to do a walk. You send them a link to a 10-minute video with Hope to do some stretches. Just get people moving. We need to be moving every single day. Like we were not designed to sit down as much as we are right now, metabolically or mental healthily or anything. And so this whole course is just amazing. She takes you through pelvic floor training, mini ball etiquette, functional movement mechanics, strengthening your core and moving from out of your core, not just getting flexible, but getting mobile. She takes you through all of this. She is one of the most advanced professors we've ever seen in this field. And she has a thriving business called Mother Trucker Yoga, where she actually has and like the largest nutrition and movement support system for truckers, the trucking community around the world. They love her. It's like her yoga, Mother Trucker Yoga. She's got like I don't have her logo around me, but it's so funny. But her vision is to help people move from anywhere. She's like, move from the cabin of your truck, move from your kitchen, move from your office, like bend, squat, reach. It doesn't matter where you are, just get more movement into your day. And anyway, she's amazing. So that's one course that if you can't tell, we really recommend. Another one that's great is how to read your blood work better than your doctor. If you're someone, you see yourself ever being interested in understanding, oh, what are basophils and eosinophils? What is bilirubin? What is the Bun test measuring? What do calcium levels mean? Oh, if I'm low in fibrinogen, what should I do? Oh, what are my homocysteine levels telling me? What's the lipid panel? Of the lipid panel, what should I worry about and what should I not worry about? Because you don't need to worry about everything on the lipid panel until you get further testing done. And so he takes you through the thyroid section, and then ends with patterns, question and answer, just like things to look for. So this course is awesome. I was able to be on the other side of the camera for this course, so I filmed this course and sent it to our editor, and it is just so empowering. Like our students say, like they're not scared to get their blood work back anymore, because they're like, oh, instead of you getting your blood work back and you being like, I'm diseased, I'm dying, you're like, okay, well, most of my cells replace themselves every like 60 days to 7 years. So how can I start influencing my cell environments that next time I get my blood work done, my numbers are completely different, right? Our bodies are completely rejuvenating themselves all the time.
I love this course. I got my blood work in and I went in and I was like, okay, what does Jeff say about this? I've learned from him for years. So it was wonderful.
Yeah. He was one of your teachers for your practitioner certification. So anyway, so this is a really great resource to have, whether you're accessing this information for yourself or for your clients. And obviously, like I said, we get into legalities because like this is some of the territory where like you're really. A couple more to your library. Thank you. This is one of those areas where you're really going to want to have like a PMA set up if you're getting into like blood work on like a private membership association or some additional form of legal protection, just enforcing that that you're not acting as a physician, etc.
And we help you with that too. Yes. So we help you understand how to set up a PMA, like literally it's what we do.
Yes.
So happy to.
Julissa asked about the AO. Yes, there are, I don't have all the AO courses. We have 4 AO courses. So it sounds like a lot, but we have a huge AO community, and these courses range from basic to advanced. And so you can, and then there's all these replays of calls of question and answers that people have had, over the past few years. I'd be so mortified to go through here because like some of these are from like a year ago. I'm going to go back and hide some of those anyway. No, but we've been doing calls with the AO for like over 14 months now. So there's AO classes. Oh, are you taking me to my?
No, I'm just looking to see if they went in there.
I'll refresh it.
Okay.
So yes, Julia, so there's plenty of support for AO programs. And then let me just refresh it. Wait, I have 3 accounts.
Which one are you in right now?
I'm in amysprouse@icloud.com.
Oh,
okay. So Karen's going to add a couple more electives to my library so that you can see them. But I would like to take questions in the meantime while she's putting those in my library. Also, great work for hanging through here for so much introduction to all these different courses. I hope you've been getting some ideas of like what courses you think you might be interested in starting with and which ones you're like just going to have to use discipline to get through. So, okay. Oh, wow. I have not. Okay. Hey, Karen, there's a chat section. Okay.
Oh,
so I'm going to start doing this.
I'm going to put parent and resident. Anything else you want in there?
Yes. Okay. Awesome. So Robert, I'm not positive. This question may have come before that, but hi, good to see you, by the way.
Hello, Robert.
I first talked to Robert when I was in Hawaii, and our first like 20 minutes was him being like, give me all the details on how to travel in Hawaii as efficiently as possible. I was like, oh, honey, I got you. I got you. If anyone's coming to Hawaii, I got the insider tips for you. Okay. Because Hawaii will break your bank unless you do it the smart way. I'm just warning you right now. Okay. Anyway, so, okay. Did we answer your question about how the systems of the body get synthesized into practical tools, or would you like me to elaborate that in like for 1 more minute? Elaborate, or do we answer it?
We got it.
We're good? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. Just making sure. So
I
we
did put
we do, okay, I'm gonna open that. Last word on that. We actually do spend a lot of time on anatomy and physiology because everything's gonna make so much more sense when you like get what gene transcription and translation is, like when those words like what is mRNA transcription, like what is gene expression, what is all of that. Everything else you hear and all the other lectures you take for the rest of your life are going to make more sense. So we do spend a lot of time on anatomy and phys because it's very empowering when you know how all the systems work together. They're not isolated, like your kidneys and your digestive tract and your endocrine system and your circulatory system and your respiratory system and your nervous system are like, they could be the same system. They're so interrelated. So anyway, I know they're different, but they're so interrelated. There are live trainings. So every Tuesday night are live trainings, and then we host workshops and retreats and conferences once a quarter. So we have one coming up here at the end of January for AO people who it's an AO intensive. So it's just 2 days of AO scans and interpreting scans and learning about the body. That's at the very end of January here in Cedar City. Our next one is May 11th through the 15th in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. And that's a sound therapy retreat, all about the science, the clinical research on sound therapy and how sound waves affect cellular mechanisms. And of course, we're going to be doing like drum circles and sound bowl ceremonies and all that. So that's going to be in Oklahoma. And then our next one will probably be a live TNC workshop. We haven't picked the date for that, but that'll be before our fall convention, which will be in St. George, hosted with the International Holistic Health Alliance. We team up with them for our events. So yeah, you'll get a schedule on that. But so we do those live events about once a quarter, and then those ones are broadcasted. Yep, if you can't make it live. So yeah, those are super fun. And then Tuesday nights are when we do our TNC and HHC calls at 6:30 Tuesday nights. So Mountain Time. Those are really fun. Awesome. Okay. Marie, I'm very happy to send you the replay. So you mentioned you just came in a little bit late. So if you don't mind just sending me your email, I'll go ahead and email you the recording of today's call, so you can get the beginning. Ken mentioned, do you have guidelines on how to coach when you have to coach for our practicum in the HHC? How do you know how to begin coaching? If you are not a TNC, can you purchase Hope's Fitness program? Okay, awesome question. So Kim, yes, I'll start with your second question. All of the elective courses you can purchase separately. So they come with certification bundles if someone's like signing up for a big bundle, but you can also buy them all individually. So just reach out to us, Kim, and you can buy it outright or set yourself up a payment plan for any of the electives that you want. And then it depends on like the size of it, but yeah. And then guidelines on how to coach when for the practicum for the HHC. So we also do have a video on tips for preparing for your HHC practicum. That one's going to be a lot of like, we want to test your knowledge on the 10 step. Like we're like, hey, if someone comes in and they have a sleep issue, what are you going to go over with them? Because we don't want you just saying like 1 or 2 things. Like you could literally talk about 6 different things with someone that all is going to relate to their sleeping quality at night. And so we just are testing your knowledge on, okay, if someone has, like whatever it could be from the 10 step wheel, we just want to check your knowledge of that step and make sure you have a really good understanding of it. So yes, Julissa, tons of courses on the AO. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we're really excited about all the information and the electives. We feel like this is like the dawn of our school. Like we're so excited. We're applying for all these different accreditations because we want to be an independent university at some point. So it's step by step, but it is really cool to have so many different people collaborating on more courses. So do be aware that courses will still be opening even after you enroll, but we'll always let you know what your options are for adding those to your library. And then, okay, awesome, reset. So if you are someone who knows a little bit of everything, but not enough of any one thing, and you want to take it slow, where do you start? Okay, health coach. Yeah, totally. The holistic health coach cert is like an amazing foundation where you're going to hear bits and pieces of what, like, oh, I've heard that EMFs affect your, electrical system. And then you're going to get to hear 45 minutes of how EMFs affect your electrical system. Or you're going to be like, oh, I heard about that one sleep thing, or I heard about how nose breathing increases nitric oxide in your bloodstream and, improves oxygen uptake. And then you get to hear 45 minutes about breathing. And so it's a great place.
It goes together. Not only do you learn about the breathing, but you learn, oh, how does that fit in with water or with X? And that's what's so neat about it.
Yeah, totally. So totally health coach, it should be pretty low stress. Like that's the biggest feedback we get from people who go through the health coach program is they're like, I didn't know how low stress you guys could make education when it comes to like going through the 10-step program. Cause like, they're like, oh, I just play it while I'm on my way to work. It sounds like I'm listening to a talk show host, but they're happy to be talking about holistic healthcare. So like I said, the 10 steps going to be a lot. That's like a really great foundational course. And then the other ones are going to just be building up in complication more after that. So they don't really get that complicated, but parent pack. Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, great questions. So right before we wrap up, there are 2 more courses we just have to give you a peek of because Karen's been working on them so hard and they look amazing. Yes. So I'm just going to refresh my screen here. Okay. Do you want to resin art therapy or parent pack first? Oh, and Power's in here too.
Oh, that's right.
Oops. Okay, parent pack. Okay,
so I put this together. So this I'm like most excited about because as an educator, I always wanted to get all this information into the homes. There's so many people who wanted our programs, but they didn't want to be certified. They just wanted to know this information for their grandkids or for their family. And so what we did is we took the information that you would use as a parent or as a caregiver. As I was, I was a caregiver for 5 years to our daughter. She was pretty much bedridden that whole time. And so we have sections on all of this. So here in the parents and caregiver pack, we have the cell talk, we have the systems of the body and Empowered, which is a 2-day event. And it's just hours and hours of phenomenal education and the Embodied Master Guide. But then we have like 20 ways of healing without the pharmacy, where we talk about 20 of the things you can do at home, for your children. And then we have those all listed out. And then we go back and we have, where am I? And we have the tips. So we have parenting tips from Mama Kay. I have a dozen of kids that aren't mine on top of the ones that are mine. And so I went ahead and we put together all these little videos that parents can use on how to, from potty training to X, Y, and Z. And then we did the same thing for the caregiver tips. And so this is really neat because it's all information. It's all information that you can use if you don't want to be certified, so for $1,200, if someone just wants a lot of information, but doesn't want all the certification and the courses and the quizzes, this is it. And then the first Thursday of every month, we have an open call for parents and caregivers around from anywhere in the world. And so we're really excited to be opening this up because it's just puts everything in the hands of probably think some parents right now or some families who could use this information. Access to Human Body Master Guide 24 hours a day in and of itself is worth every penny. And then having an open Q&A for Human Body Master Guide along with the parent pack. So this was a lot of fun to put together. So we have that program, and then we have we did an art therapy. For those of you who are looking to express yourself through art, I flew down to Florida and I videotaped an entire course on how to do resin art therapy. Awesome. And it is absolutely so much fun. You will go from point A to making these incredible pieces. Oh gosh, I'm going to just show you some of the pieces at the very end. So this, and then we talk about chromotherapy, and where, and how important chromotherapy is. So there's me, and these are the pieces that I made when I flew out there, and my good friend Dus, and these are all pieces that her students have made. There's lots more, actually. They're just not loaded yet. And it was just really fun. So the resin art therapy is just another course we put together kind of for the fun of it. It's not health. It's just enjoying art therapy. So. Yeah.
But I would argue for some people, doing this to express themselves is going to be better for them than drinking a green drink every morning. It just depends what someone's soul needs. So
it's amazing. It's awesome. Amazing.
Love it. So we are excited to put more fun electives in. We have one sound healing ceremony. Her spiritual name is Crystal Cat, and
she's so cool.
She's her and her partner are amazing professional musicians. So they're putting together part of our sound healing course for our students. But she did a whole separate one on body. It's called Body Harmony with Crystal Cat. And she's in front of a green screen. So of course they put the most bizarre things behind her. And she's taking you through this body flow movement of connecting to your body. And it's meant to do 15 minutes a day in the mornings. And it's actually awesome. But I told her when we were on the phone planning her courses, I was like, you guys are going to be the ones who have the bowling elective when you go to college. It's someone's taking chemistry and like anthropology, and then they have like a dancing or a bowling class. So I was like, that's what you guys are doing right now, is making like the bowling electives for HHE.
Fun stuff.
I love it.
Awesome.
So, okay, cool. Well, resident art therapy parent pack, we got a lot down,
That's
Mom.
good. Yeah, we got enough down for today.
Woo! Okay.
Way to go.
Thank you. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So one more question here from Robert. How in-depth are the trainings in each modality? Meaning, are these briefs or deep dives for each? I heard you say 45 minutes on EMF. Is that typical training for each subject? So Robert, the 45 minutes on EMF is part of the 10-step program. So in the 10-step program, you can expect each step to take between 45 minutes and 2.5 hours. Nutrition is the longest one by far. Most of them are like an hour to an hour and a half total. The modalities of healing Karen's talking about, those are like 3 to 12 minutes. Some of them are like 15 minutes, but those ones are really brief just to introduce you to it. So you're not getting certified in those modalities of healing, but you will learn like, okay, what system of the body is this therapy working on? You know, if it's auricular therapy, you know, dealing with the ears, it's like, okay, how does this work on the body? What meridians is it activating? When would you use it? What conditions does it help for? Who would you refer a client to go see that person? And then maybe a success story or two from Karen, and then we move on to the next one. So what happens is like, because we didn't want to make that section super long, as it is, it's about 17 hours of content to get through 120 modalities of healing from around the world. But what we find with our TNC students is they usually find like 2 therapies from there that they go on and get another certification in. They're like, whoa, you know,
that's what I want to do.
Detoxification or emotion code or iridology or whatever it is. Now you know all these therapy types, and then you get a better idea of what you want to specialize in. So it's not meant to be super in depth, just because so many people who come through our programs are like busy working professionals, and we'd rather give them like a really broad education and let them focus on what they want to specialize in, as opposed to like spending a long time on each video, just because it would take that would take really long.
But it is very in-depth, like the nutritional science, the foundations of nutrition and the holistic health coach. Those are definitely more in-depth. And so that is an actual physical, you will learn a ton training. So that's very in-depth education.
Yeah. Cool.
Maybe too in-depth here and there, but that's okay. You're going to make it through it. Everyone does. Everyone comes out alive.
Yes. Well, okay. This was my biggest criticism. This was my biggest criticism of going to school and like traditional schooling is like, they'll like teach you all the fancy words, and then right when it's about to be applicable to your life, they move on. And so like you'll learn, I'll be in an immunology course with like world-class professors in immunology telling you all these FC receptor sites, M88, toll-like receptor genes, like all the verbiage you could ever imagine. And then I'll raise my hand in class and be like, so how do you move your lymphatic system to like keep healthy? And they'll be like, I don't know, take an antibiotic. It's like, no, that's not how you move your lymphatic system, And so it's like, what we really want to do is include as much practical information as possible. And I'm not trying to knock on higher education. I believe in higher education, and I love it when people can go to college. I've loved going to school, but I'm not okay with the absence of practical information that exists in our medical school curriculum. It's gone, and it was systematically removed per the Flexner report of 1910, when medical schools had to strip naturopathic therapies from their curriculum to comply with the Carnegie Rockefeller funded Flexner report, so they could make way to focus on pharmaceutical drug clinical therapies. And those therapies were never put back in. And it's so obvious for anyone who's gone through like medical school training today, or holistic public health, public health training or healthcare training. It's like the most incredible science you could ever imagine, and next to no practical applications for what does it mean when you go home and you're making dinner that night, or what does it mean when you like wake up and want to have more energy in the morning. So that's a really big emphasis, is like for every piece of science we feed you, we want you to know what the take home what the immediate actionable item step on that is. And that's our biggest goal. And in fact, we really don't teach a lot of science that doesn't have practical implications, just because we want you to know the science, but we even more want you to know what to do with that science and with that science information.
Well, and just to give you a quick example, one of our staff members, she's a pharmacist and her husband is a pharmacist. And I have her in 1 or 2 of our videos, and she's like, okay, here is a pharmaceutical that you can use, but then you get off of it within a couple months. Like that's the attitude that we look for and we help. Or is that because everything that you're learning, want you to be able to use and be applicable for you and then your clients as well. So it's really cool.
Yeah,
I love that approach.
Her video on pharmacology in the modalities of healing from around the world is awesome, because she does say like, hey, there's some classes of pharmaceutical drugs that can help remind your body how to work properly. Like this is not there's, maybe 15% of drugs that are like, whoa, this is awesome. This works with your body's anatomy and physiology instead of against it. So she gives credit where credit is due. And then she's like, yeah, and then the rest of them you're going to want to get off before it like completely messes up your body's physiology in the long run. So anyway. Oh, okay. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
It's like, it's great to see your names and faces on here, because I've been talking to some of you for like almost a year now. And other people are more new. So it's super great to have you all on here. So if your intention is to enroll, for those of you who are already students, you'll be getting emails with any applicable updates to your course library. But for those of you who are not enrolled yet and you want to enroll, just reach out to me and we'll schedule a enrollment session where we go over what do you want in your course bundle, and then what are your payment plan options. Like, what are the finances going to be for that?
We love people and we love you.
Yay.
Right.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to stop the recording, but if anyone who's still on would like to like unmute yourself and just say hi or share with us your favorite takeaway, that would be really fun. So I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.
Bye.